What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another live broadcast of the Engadget Podcast. I'm Senior Editor Devendra Hardwar, joined by a couple folks today. Reviews Editor Sherlyn Lowe. Hey,
Excuse
Sherlyn,
me?
Deputy
Excuse
Reviews
me?
Editor? Deputy, what is it? Deputy Managing Editor of Reviews. Oh, no, my life.
Deputy Editor.
Yeah.
Just easiest. Yes, hi. What's up?
Yeah. What's up? And
Yeah, man.
podcast producer Ben
Sherlyn,
Elman.
yeah, and Sherlyn hasn't been reviews editor for a while. But yeah, Ben is tired.
Ben is tired. We all tired. How is it going? I don't see too many people in the chat. I see Chiming Chung. Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
hello.
We're gonna get more people, hopefully. This is gonna be a little bit of a weird episode because I've recorded an offline segment that's gonna be about Neuralink and the end of, or basically the denial of human trials. That was the news from last week. So all of you watching us, go to our audio episode, go to the Engadget Podcast feed, get the full episode because that interview will be there, but it will not be in this stream. Good morning, everybody.
I see Philip Doyle, hi from the UK. George Morgan, hi. Hi also to Turbine with a 1, not an I. It's good to see y'all.
Hello.
Harry Vlogs had a funny comment. This is gonna be a touchy topic. I think I'm bracing myself for like Elon supporters to come.
Fine, let them whine.
But we'll
Ben,
see.
get the ban hammer out. But yeah, we've got
I
a bunch
wish
of
I
other
had the
news.
ban hammer.
You don't.
I
Have
got
the
it.
ban
I got
hammer?
it. It's good.
Okay.
It's good.
Get the ban hammer. But
So,
yeah, we've got a
Julio,
bunch of
can you-
news, and we will be talking about the Elon Musk going after the employee.
Julio, I just put a article in our chat. Can you put that up for just a second? Because I think that this chat is going to be really interesting. If you're just joining us, first segment of the audio podcast is going to be based on a article from a while ago. When was this? Oh God, why isn't it loading?
Well, it's not
Okay.
going to be based on that. But
No, it's not based on. Okay, but
Yeah.
God, yeah, I am tired. But we're going to be talking about Neuralink being denied for human trials by the FDA, and we're talking to the person who wrote the article on what
Engadget?
Neuralink and other BCIs can and can't do. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.
It's okay,
I'm
Ben.
tired.
Let's go.
Hi to Wyatt, Harry Vlogs, and My Home Kit Home, who are Harry and My Home Kit Home are from the UK and Mexico, respectively. Hi, thanks for joining us.
And Harry Vlogs, that's not how making fun of disabilities works. Although I think Elon has his own issues to deal with for sure.
SkateTube says, just remember, I am not Elon. Yeah, we believe you. We believe you.
I mean, I wish Elon would just pop into this chat and not respond to any criticisms like he did on, what was it? It was the Twitter Spaces when people were talking about that. That was fun. That was a fun night when we all thought Twitter was going to fall apart. Anyway, I think we're good to go. I'm
Aaron
gonna
and
introduce-
Marley loves some. Hi. Yes,
Hello. I'm
come
going
on.
to introduce the episode as if that segment was going to be there, and then take a pause, and then we'll go straight into other news.
And we'll talk to y'all in between the segments. That's
Yeah.
And hi to Rob Langley, Alexander.
My recording's good. Confirm.
I'm double checking mine is still going, but I think so. Yep.
And ready to clap, Ben.
Yeah. Okay. So the last thing that we're going to do, if you are a long-time chat member, you know what's going to happen. If you're just tuning in for the first time, what we do is we count down from 3, and then we clap, and then we're just silent for a little bit.
Shazat said they're here to see Sherlon Musk, which you know what? You know what? Time to bring that back. Okay, yes.
Okay, so we're going to count down from 3. We're going to clap. And if you want to clap in the chat, you absolutely can do that. Put some clap emojis in the chat. That's always fun for us to see. So counting down from 3, 2, 1. And some silence. Be sure to hit that thumbs up during the silence. It helps other people see us. Okay, we are done with silence, and let's go on with the episode.
Sure.
Hi to Wes Jackson and ZB Vlogging.
Hello. All right, let's kick off in 3.
I got a
2.
big burp in me, sorry.
It's okay. Get it out. You good?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. What's up, Internet, and welcome back to the Engadget Podcast. I'm Senior Editor Devendra Hardwar.
I'm Deputy Editor Sherlyn Lowe.
This week, we'll be diving into Neuralink and the latest news around that and brain-computer interfaces. Last week, the FDA reportedly didn't allow them to expand to human trials. So we've got Andrew Tarantola from Engadget to talk about that. We'll also be diving into a bunch of news around accessibility, the latest dumb things Elon Musk has said, and we've got some other news. We've got some Sonos speakers and a lot of stuff going on. As always, folks, if you're enjoying the show, please be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever you get podcasts. Drop us a review on iTunes, and you can always leave us an email at podcast@engadget.com. I'm sure after this episode, people are going to have a lot of emails to send us. I'll do this. You can also catch us Thursday mornings, typically around 10 a.m. You can also catch us Thursday mornings, typically around 10:30 a.m. Eastern, on our YouTube channel, where we'll be doing a live stream of the show, and sometimes we show off gadgets, and we take some time to answer questions. So join us; it's a fun time. So I'll do that first intro. Okay. So to reiterate, last week, the FDA reportedly said that it was not going to be allowing human trials for Neuralink, which is one of Elon Musk's other companies that we don't hear too much about often, but that's the one that's trying to develop a brain-computer interface, something that you implant in your brain that can communicate, wirelessly with computers, that can also accept data and things like that. This is not a topic we've talked about very much, so that's why I've brought in Andrew Tarantola, a senior editor in Engadget. He's covered this particular topic. He also covers a lot of forward-facing and futuristic topics for us in Engadget. So here's our chat, and Andy's going to break down everything that's cool about BCIs and why. So here's our chat. Andy's going to break down everything that's going on with Neuralink and BCIs in general, and the issues facing Neuralink as a company. Okay.
Great intro.
Yep.
I love the claps we see. We see all of them.
Claps.
Thank you.
Thank you for the claps, everybody. Okay. Let's move on to some other news, which I think is kind of relevant to a lot of topics we're going to be talking about today, because this is it's a big week for accessibility news. A lot of companies have talked about stuff. And of course, somehow we are once again talking about Elon Musk. And this very, very strange interaction that happened earlier this week, where I saw a former Twitter employee, Haraldur Torleifsson, who started a tweet thread saying, hey, very, very respectfully, very kindly, saying hey, haven't been able to log into my email for a while. What's going on? He pinged Elon directly. And there was this weird back and forth where Elon was like, tell me what work you did. And then Haraldur, aka Harry, listed all his credentials. And there was this weird thing that happened where essentially this guy, Harry, was trying to figure out if he was actually still employed by Twitter or actually fired. He had contacted HR, he contacted several other people, and it wasn't until he pinged Elon on Twitter to kind of figure out what's happening that he actually got some sort of confirmation. And that kind of spun out of control, because then Elon was sort of started trolling the guy, saying, you're not actually, that you didn't actually do much work. He kind of laughed at him early on too. And then it was revealed that this is a guy who had sold a company to Twitter, a design firm to Twitter. He's also somebody who has muscular dystrophy. So he's been using a wheelchair for a very long time. And it's just a very strange thing where Elon was pretending, or at least assuming, that he did not actually do much work, because Holly is also having issues with his hands and finger inputs. So this is a very strange story. I don't know if you saw this part of it, Sherlyn, and then I'll talk about where we are, or your response to this as you saw this going on.
Yeah, I saw this. I went to look at the back and forth, and to see what Elon said to this person in particular, and it was basically, he assumed, he was like, oh, this person, he basically questioned the legitimacy of this person's claim that they're disabled, more or less, and said that he says he
prominent. Here's the Elon quote. He's prominent. He has an active Twitter account, and as well the reason he confronted me in public was to get a big payout. So that was Elon.
But then there was the other part of it where he basically said this person claimed that they can only type for a certain number of hours a day, and so therefore Elon assumed that this person can't do any work because they can't type for longer than a couple hours a day. But Harry I think, came back and was like, yeah, I get so much done in the 2 hours of typing. It's not because my job is requiring me to sit at a desk and type nonstop for 2 hours straight. 2 hours when spread out throughout the day is like, could be 200 emails. Like it's a lot
there are
of
also
things that
different
you can
input
get done.
mechanisms. When I was in college,
Right.
I once like helped somebody who had basically worked so hard over a weekend, she like just couldn't use her wrists for several months. Like they had to heal. So I set up, this was in 2005. I set up text to speech software so she could actually get work done and do some writing.
Yeah.
So we have the tools. We have a lot of ways to do things.
And I'm sure that they're doing that too. So it was that was to me the most triggering part to see, because for Elon to completely dismiss that person's value as an individual just because he believed that they claimed a disability that he didn't seem to think existed, that was not cool. And also just the fact that Elon felt the need to like
troll
come
him.
after
Like,
this person.
yeah.
Exactly. Like come after this person as a knee-jerk reaction. He did a so-called apologize afterwards.
So there was stuff that happened there. And then there were the revelations that I don't know if it's technically true that Holly was on a do not fire this man list because the terms of his employment are kind of weird. So Twitter had bought his company several years ago. Instead of getting a big cash payout, he decided to take a salary basically as part of this whole thing. If he was ever fired, then Twitter would have to pay him the full amount of that deal. Also, just as an aside, Holly is somebody who's become sort of like an internet hero in kind of a sweet way, because he is one of the most well-known people in Iceland. He has done a lot of work. He has this project where he's trying to build as many wheelchair ramps in Iceland
I saw
as possible.
that. Yeah,
that's super cool. Something close to my heart. He's also opening up a bar/restaurant/cinema in Reykjavik. Just go to his Twitter account too. Like it is a beautiful space, but clearly like a guy who seems like he's kind of doing things in the best way possible for the people around him, right? So by taking that salary, he was going to be taxed higher than if he had taken the full lump sum of that deal. There were ways like for him to pay less taxes, and he purposely said that he wanted to pay back into the country that gave him basically a free education and a lot of help throughout his career. That's very nice. That's something Elon doesn't quite do with his taxes. So yeah, this guy has become a bit of a hero. He's been on several podcasts right now. I just wanted to point this situation out because it is like another example of like Elon's like knee-jerk style of management, which turns out like, oh no, you are in a world of hurt. And so after all that, I think after a lot of these things came to know, and maybe lawyers started calling Elon Musk, he issued an apology saying, I would like to apologize to Holly for my misunderstanding of his situation. It was based on some things I was told that were untrue, or in some cases true, but not meaningful. Okay. Yeah. He's considering remaining at Twitter, Elon says. I don't think Holly has replied, has said, if he will be doing that. I think there's... honestly, everyone, I wonder if there's gonna be a big public move to be this man should just run Twitter, because clearly I don't know if it's in good hands right now. Yeah,
I am just very curious, given everything that's been happening, right, with the outage, this mockery, this awful behavior, that his most fervent supporters, or even his more casual supporters, how do they feel now?
Just people on Twitter, I see basically taking Elon's side. I'm looking at our chat room right now and seeing a lot of people saying that too. It's you just this is.
I didn't see that.
It's there's folks. It is a weird thing. Please don't simp for billionaires. They don't care about you. Care about the guy who was basically laid off from a job that he was apparently really enjoying too and was doing good work at. But the basic humanity of not knowing if you were working or not, especially if you are supporting your family and trying to do a good job, I think is just. It's a really sad story. And I think this is going to be one of those things when we look back at what Elon's reign of terror at Twitter has been. This is going to be a pretty notable story. I like that Darren and in our chat was it's horrible, but at least he apologized and somehow had the self-control to not call him a pedo. So that's funny. He apologized, but even then, his
apology was empty.
It was a weird mealy mouth thing where he says, I was told things that were untrue, or in some cases true, but not meaningful.
Yeah, but not meaningful.
Okay.
It's kind of I'm sorry that I got bad info. I'm sorry that someone else gave me. You know what I mean? Almost throwing someone else under the bus. I'm sorry that
I reacted to you the way my personality really tends to. Without,
let's put it this way: a real apology would have looked like this. A real apology would be I'm sorry, I messed up. I should never have said this sort of stuff to anyone ever. I will be trying my best to be a better person in the future. That's it.
I'm looking forward to seeing a real apology like that from Elon Musk for anything. For anything.
Just FYI, in case y'all are wondering what a real apology looks like, that's what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't understand. The word sorry doesn't always mean like I'm apologetic. It just means I need to say sorry because the people are asking for it, but I want to deflect still, and they can add stuff. I'm sorry, but it's not necessarily an apology. So
I think one key aspect of this too is the way Elon basically like diminished Holly's disability and sort of like pretended it wasn't real, and that is something people are dealing with all the time too, like people with chronic syndromes where it's not really visible that they're having issues or need certain types of help. There's often an issue of managers and people at their work just thinking, oh, you're just being lazy, or you're not actually doing your work. And that is just really crummy. And I hope like this brings to light a lot of these situations. But let's move on to like some of the actual news, good news too. Microsoft held a disability or an ability summit this week, and they announced that Microsoft 365 will soon have an accessibility assistant. That seems pretty cool. I know you've been following this stuff closely, Sherlyn. Do you have any thoughts on this and what Microsoft is doing as a company right now?
Yeah, I mean, this is the 13th Ability Summit that Microsoft has hosted now, and the accessibility assistant coming to Microsoft 365, which confused me because I was like, isn't that Office 365? Anyway, Microsoft 365, it's basically kind of like a checker, which will offer you suggestions on how to like, hey, this part, small font like that may be hard to read, or use more high contrast color schemes to, allow for better readability, that sort of stuff. So it will be throughout the Microsoft 365 suite, and Microsoft has done this before in things like Visual Studio, which is more like a program thing, right? So you're like making programs to make them easier to use. But alongside the assistant, the accessibility assistant, the company also announced more 3D printed attachments for the Surface Pen, which were already available before for the business pen and the classroom pen too. So it's just like coming to more things. And this is part of their whole, using 3D printing to make accessories a bit more usable by people with different motor disabilities or so. Azure is also getting some accessibility minded updates. The Seeing AI app we saw fairly recently got update to help people with low vision or who are blind make their way through.
It will do an even better job of helping you like walk through a building, which is
exactly
cool. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So like navigate a structure and that sort of thing. So a bunch of updates, and again, Microsoft has a great chief accessibility officer, has a pretty good approach to accessibility within its organization and its structure. Like it's got like people embedded in every team as opposed to like one team that may or may not get included in the whole process, right? So I do applaud Microsoft for constantly kind of being on top of it. And yeah, I think we could stand to see more of it. I think this week or last week we had Hearing Day, World Hearing Day. So maybe this is tied to that event. But yeah, I like to see more being done. I think the work is never done for making sure products are accessible and inclusive. So
for sure, it's Microsoft has like a whole like department, right, devoted to accessibility too, which is something we've not seen at many other companies. So they've been doing better, I would say. I know people have followed basically what Microsoft started doing. Right.
Well, here's the good news is that like they play nice with each other too. I mean, Apple has a very good approach to accessibility as well. I'm not as familiar with how their accessibility department necessarily looks, but I know that I've spoken with Jenny Leigh-Fleury. She's the chief accessibility officer at Microsoft, and they have like a spoken wheel approach. So there is sort of that internal department, but they more have like people spread out to all the teams, hardware, Office, Azure, etc., who are involved in all the product design stuff. So a bit more of an integrated function, as opposed to like, say at Google, maybe there's a separate accessibility team, or at Twitter where they used to have a very young and newly set up accessibility team that was like a separate team from everyone else. It's a bit of a different approach, I think. So yeah.
We also know, or at least you were getting ready for Google I/O. So do you have anything to tell us about that?
A little bit of behind the scenes. I've been pushing Google to like let me know what the date of Google I/O is this year for a long time. I've been like, guys, I have travel plans coming up. I need to know if I can leave in May.
This is
like
very
I need
smart
to know.
of you, Sherlyn. This is better than when I took 2 weeks off and Microsoft was like, oh yeah, let's have a big event. in the middle
Oh
of the week.
no, but look,
Yeah.
it just shows my priorities are like
Yeah.
I'm a slave to work, right? So I'm like, y'all, I might not go to this important wedding if if you have IO, so just let me know. You know what I mean?
You
So
would
like,
probably, knowing you would have more fun at IO than some
this is
maybe a wedding.
well.
you're
So
forced
now
go
I get to do
Yeah.
both. Now I get to do both. Basically, I will be going to a wedding in May, and then straight after that, go to Google I/O, which is happening May 10th.
Okay.
It's at the Shoreline Amphitheater. It is a limited in-person event, but some members of our team have gotten invites, including mine. I am quite likely to go. We don't know who else is going yet. No real clue on what we're expecting to see in terms of products. I would not be surprised. I actually would bet big money on AI being a focal point of this year's
you?
Google I/O. Yeah. So I wonder what the odds are on that one. But yeah, anyone here want to take me up on my bet? I bet we will hear more about Bard AI come Google I/O 2023 in May on May 10th. I bet a special shout out on the show. I'm sure that's worth a lot of money.
Oh man! So
Yeah.
speaking of AI, it also seems like Microsoft is holding a Future of Work
Yes.
event on March 16th, which is going to focus on AI and how they're going to be using AI in the work. So okay, sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be integrating AI into more of the Office products and that sort of stuff. But it sounds like we're going to learn a little bit more about Bing AI as well, coming to
Okay.
some of these products.
There
So
was an
basically,
email-
having ChatGPT write your essays for you right inside Word, right? Like,
Yeah, well,
That's
there
what we're
was a report from The Information that said Outlook could use AI to improve search results and suggest email replies, which, Gmail has like basic versions of that already, and Word could give you writing suggestions. So, yeah. I don't know. I really wonder how word processors are going to balance the sort of like, here are some suggestions for what you're writing versus just let me write the whole thing. Like, just open Word and just be like, I gotta write a review about this phone. Just write it for me.
I know. I just like, can you write a review for me that I just like edit a few bits and pieces of here and there? Like, yeah.
No,
It'll be
don't do
fun.
that because then you are training it to make us irrelevant, Trillin. So no, we always have to
Well, I
have
can
the
write
human element.
other stuff. I
No,
write
no.
jokes.
If we do this, it's just taking from us. So anyway, Future
I
of
know.
Work, March 16th event from Microsoft. That's going to be, I would expect not too much like Engadget related news, but we'll be keeping an eye on it for sure. Have you seen these new Sonos speakers, Trillin? Because these
I
seem
have
really
heard about them, been hearing about them for a while. I like Sonos, very
You
good
like
audio
Sonos.
brand.
I like Sonos too. And this week, Sonos announced their spatial audio speakers. This is something that was leaked, I think, by The Verge several weeks ago. And we've been expecting it for a long time. So they have announced the $450 Era 300 speaker and also the Era 100, which is $250. The Era 300 basically looks like it's going to be a HomePod like competitor. It is a big single speaker. Looks like it has it's almost like it's like a very weird shape. It's kind of like you took a speaker and you kind of squeezed it in the middle, so kind of you have two speakers coming out at either end. The idea with spatial audio, as with the HomePod and the Amazon Echo Studio, is that it actually has several speakers inside and you can sort of like give you a sense of you're watching a live musical performance rather than hearing one or two speakers individually. So it is cool technology. I think so Nate Ingram at Engadget has written up his perspective on it. He took a demo with them and they seem nice. They seem really cool. My thing is the Era 100 may actually be more interesting, especially for people who have Sonos surround sound setups already. I believe both of these are Dolby Atmos capable.
Yes.
I didn't get a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah, you can pair them up apparently, and then if you have a sound bar, you get like a complete Dolby Atmos like setup apparently.
That's what it seems like. But yeah, the idea of using a pair of Era 300s, which that may be a little extravagant. That's $450 per speaker.
Yeah.
But using them as your rear speakers, if you have a Sonos Arc play bar, like the Sonos Arc sound bar up front itself, that's like a $800 thing. Plus the sub, which is another big chunk of change. You could have a beautiful wireless, fully Atmos system in your house that covers Atmos from the front and Atmos from the rear. And You know what? That stuff is kind of wild. I don't know if you've probably heard it in theaters, Sherlyn, because Atmos is everywhere. Have you heard like like Atmos in somebody's house? Maybe at Sam's house.
No, Sam doesn't. Sam ain't fancy like that. Sorry, Sam. My brother in Singapore somehow I think managed to get some secondhand Sonos speakers maybe, and I have experienced some of that. I think I can't tell if it was necessarily Dolby Atmos at home.
It has to be the Arc or the Beam 2. The Beam 2, which I reviewed, also has a bit of Atmos
Could
stuff.
be the Beam 2. I can't remember
Anyway,
offhand. I do have a question. Yeah.
No,
my question, Dev, is like, my setup is Google speakers around my apartment, which is now a 1-bedroom, so I have some space. And I've been thinking, should I invest in Sonos? Is it worthwhile to go to Sonos?
I would say so. I mean, the question is, do you want it to be like a little standalone speaker, or do you want it to be like buy your TV and give you TV sound? Like, do you want it to be your TV speaker too? And then at that point, you should decide, like, okay, maybe the Sonos Beam 2, I think would be a good one for you because it's a nice little sound bar.
The Beam 2.
But you can also use it as just like your living room speaker, whenever you want to hear music. So that would be my recommendation to you.
Can I link the Sonos to Google speakers? I know this is like my personal shopping advice channel, y'all. Welcome to my channel.
Sonos they support both Alexa and Google Assistant, as I recall.
And so I can have both the Google speakers and the Sonos speaker play at the same time?
That I don't know about. That is up
okay.
to Google.
I'll talk to Google. It's okay. I'll talk to Google anyway.
Google, and also the way Google like handles partner devices is weird.
They'll be fine. I'll just make it a request. They'll be like, "Yes, we'll do it for you."
Do it for you. Anyway, new Sonos speakers, very exciting. I'm a big Sonos fan, even though I also wrote an article several years about when Sonos initially announced that they're going to be basically ending support for some of their first gen devices. And
I remember that.
That is the danger of Sonos. That is the danger of like getting any smart device, where the risk is that in a couple of years, like support could end, or they could just decide to deprecate your device and you're stuck. And that's not something you have to deal with if you buy big boy speakers, if you buy like standard hi-fi speakers or something.
Right.
So,
right.
You know what? The more we talk about this stuff, Sherlyn, I have a pair of like Kef giant bookshelves around my monitor right now, which plug into a little amplifier. These things will last forever. To me? No, okay. No. These things will last forever though, and they also require a lot of wires, which I'm not sure you'd want to do. But man, good. Like, it is weird how we have the old analog tech, because speakers are using analog wires basically typically, can last forever. They're not they don't suffer the whims of smart devices or software updates. Makes me think more about those things and why we may need more of those in general. Okay. So did you see the Spotify news?
I think I cringed.
Spotify is debuting a TikTok style music discovery feed. We did talk about this rumor, and we
heard the rumors
this week. Yeah. Yep. So they're going to start rolling out in the home section of their mobile app with a more visual and dynamic look, according to Billy Steele. The company says the visual feeds are built for deeper discovery and more meaningful connections between artists and fans. I don't know. How do you feel about the vertical feed? Have your thoughts changed?
No, thanks. Next. Thank you, next.
Thank you, next. You don't want to just open up your Sonos and have it blaring music at you? That doesn't sound
okay, look, Spotify, this is my behavior when I open Spotify. I go into Spotify, I'm like, what am I in the mood for? I go and I have like 7 playlists depending on my mood, right? So I have super upbeat today, or like really chill low vibes, and Sherlyn low vibes. And I don't go, when I go discovering songs, I'm like, I want this song but replicated by different artists or something. And I don't know if that's what they're going to do with this TikTok style thing, but I'm not looking for a visual experience. I'm looking for an audio.
Sonos can't help but give you a visual experience, because if you look at
Spotify?
most of the time, Spotify, most of the time when you're playing a song, it shows you like a little clip of a video or something, like always on repeat. And
it's getting, and I think that's what this is built off of, right? So like, it's getting a bit weirder and weirder too with what the artists decide to provide with the little clips there too. Like for this song that I really like called BB Vengeance, they've changed the visual that accompanies it for a bit. And it's at first was this like one girl that's dancing the dance to BB Vengeance, and I was very confused because it was not BB, and I was like, wait, what is this? Is this her in like really laid back clothes? And then they changed it to like several other people dancing this. So basically there's like some kind of dance challenge going on, and then it's I don't know what the point is, right? And then I also saw another one where it's a Taylor Swift song, and Taylor Swift just has a loop of her like making a face at the camera or something as her album art thing, and I'm like,
It's
so
weird
I feel
because
so close to you, I guess.
Spotify wants to chase the way we are hooked on social networks, right? They want to chase the way you swipe on TikTok or Instagram and be like, oh yeah, you just want to keep swiping music, right?
Here.
That's how you listen to music? I don't think so.
Spotify's most viral and most successful social media style product is Spotify Wrapped. And that's all they got to do. I mean, I think that they've done very well with that, but they're still trying to chase others. They should figure out a way to make Wrapped more like year round, I guess. I don't know, some other,
or weekly or something. Give me like a weekly update. But you know what? Music discovery is hard. Like, how do you find new music, Sherlyn? Like, do you actually seek out new stuff, or do you like go on recommendations from people?
I do seek out new stuff. I have to use a mix of ways. I follow like subreddits that do new music recommendations. I do like my own, like I have to go through like copious like music libraries on Spotify and like play the thing, right, and then like skip to the chorus and like, do I like this chorus, and then like add it to my playlist or not, or watch YouTube compilations of new songs 2023, that sort of shit. But it's hard.
YouTube does end up weirdly. YouTube ends up being like the thing that I kind of turn to when I just want background music, to be honest. Like one of my favorite channels, and I've talked about this before, is called My Analog Journal. And it is just people spinning records. That's all it is.
Nice.
It's like, it's DJs typically, but also people who have really good taste. And they're just like, for an hour, I'm going to spin you, salsa classics from the 70s. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I don't have to do any work. I don't have to like think about this or set up a playlist or hit the radio for this one thing.
I have very specific vibes I need for like different times of day or different days in general, different moods, right? So like I don't like just randomizing it and letting someone decide for me. Maybe I'm a control freak. I am. But if for those of you,
does Spotify have?
No, I was gonna say, for those of you who are listening to us as your background noise right now, hey, rock on, thanks for putting our voice in your background.
Up? Does Spotify give you like vibes yet? Can you just like pick stuff? Like I have this vibe, I want to have stuff, because
they organize, they curate. Really I know they do curate. They have like the further down you scroll, they have like feeling myself energy, or like more of your crushes, or bedroom jams, which none of them are ever really fitting for me. I don't feel like they get me in terms of what I'm looking for. So
it's weird. I do like the algorithmic playlist. So it's like, give me a radio playlist. Like, give me a playlist based on this one song, which you've talked about, or this one artist. Yeah. And that is always useful. As part of this update, by the way, Spotify is updating that kind of specific feature. It was called Spotify Enhanced before, and now it's called Smart Shuffle. It'll add suggestions to playlists that perfectly match the vibe, quote unquote.
Nope.
It also mixes up the order. You can activate it by double tapping on the shuffle icon. Here's the thing, like I want good music. I don't want to do the work of always choosing it, and I want it to be smart enough to like get me stuff I like, so that is the push and pull that Spotify is dealing with. You know what, folks, let us know what you think. Do you want a TikTok style feed in Spotify? Once this thing debuts, do you like it? Let us know, and drop us an email at podcast@engadget.com. Moving on to a couple of fun stories. It turns out this is the week several companies have decided to launch very bright, colorful devices. So you have something special in your hands, right, Sherlyn? Or
I do. I actually forgot to bring it with me to the live stream, but the yellow iPhone 14, I have it. You can head on over to the Engadget Instagram or YouTube to check out the unboxing video I did. But yeah, we have a yellow iPhone 14. It's you can call it the banana colored yellow, like banana yellow. I call it the banana phone, basically. It's Pikachu yellow. It's Pikachu yellow, not pea yellow, but it's also, depending on how healthy you are, it might be pea yellow. Okay. Cool. Thanks for letting us know your, banana yellow. It's what other types of yellows is? Let us know. What does this yellow remind you?
It's a yellow phone. I just want to know why.
I like that.
It is March. It is early March. We are 6 months away from the actual new iPhones. Why do we need a new color now?
Or an SE? Well, but they've done this before, right? This was the last year. This time we saw the green iPhone 13s. We saw army green regular iPhone 13. We saw frosted green iPhone 13 Pro. They just, I don't know really what the logic is to like
more sales.
Yeah.
Like people will be like, okay,
exactly.
well, I see this color and I've been thinking of getting an iPhone, so I will make the jump. Because
It's too right. If you were thinking of it and you thought that like you were holding out on a color to make your decision, because I don't see anyone that just bought an iPhone 14 in, let's say, blue or purple, which they both have as well, suddenly looking at the yellow going, no, I need to swap this out now for a yellow. Like I don't see it unless you have oodles of money, like just so much money.
This is not a thing to swap to. It is a thing to upgrade to from an older iPhone, maybe. Yeah.
Right.
And also, this is not going to be on the Pros. This is just the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus. So.
And Plus, exactly. Okay. So pre-orders are starting this Friday, which is tomorrow, and then it will be actually retail available on Tuesday. So again, if you want to see what this looks like in videos that are not made by Apple, you can go onto Engadget's Instagram.
You know what? I feel like I would like a bolder shade of yellow, like almost like a marigold. The Nokia, like several years ago when they were doing the PureView phones, it had like a really nice bold yellow that really stood out.
This is pretty close.
This is kind of light. This feels a little like it's very like gentle.
It's more Pikachu than like Raichu, I guess. I don't know.
Raichu. Okay, talk about bold colors. Microsoft also debuted a Velocity green Xbox controller.
Oh yeah.
I have nothing to say except like it took you this long to make a very all green Xbox Series S and X controller. This is your brand. Green is your brand.
But also, would you call this Razer green? You know what I mean? Like this is kind of close.
Is it?
It's not the same green. It's a little grassier than Razer's green.
More neon.
Limey. Yeah, more lime and acid. But this is but it reminds me of like gamer vibes in the same way that Razer does.
Gamer vibes. Sure. Okay, whatever. It looks nice and I like the Xbox controller. Yeah.
If you're listening, Microsoft, I like it.
You like it. Send it to Charlene to play her not like your game.
My non-existent. Yeah. I'll buy Xbox Game Pass, okay? Like, I just needed a controller. Anyway.
Okay, Charlene, imagine this. What about a horned beetle? A nice, like, spiny horned beetle with many, many legs. How do you feel about that next to your ear?
F off.
Because that's what Nothing wants you to think about with their new ear.
I want nothing to do with it. I want nothing to do with this.
Why would you do this, Nothing?
It's so weird. When I saw this picture, I was like, we have to talk about this on the podcast. Nothing, that brand that we have spoken of on this podcast several times before, that made the transparent earbuds cases and the phone with the transparent back. They're back with a strange new teaser picture. Remember the last time they made like a product announcement, they used parrots, I think, in their images.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, birds, fine. This time around, if you haven't seen the image that was used before, go over to Engadget.com. Nothing's image is basically this like 16:9 picture, right? Horizontal landscape picture, whatever. With the first 2/3 on the left basically empty, and the 1/3 on the right is this. What, a dung beetle, a scarab beetle, whatever it is.
It could be a dung beetle, but it looks like it's a spiny beetle that has like 3 very pointy tops and
lots of legs, just legs with and then like a very like it's black and it doesn't look slimy kind of, but like it's it looks like it's exactly. I'm losing my mind here. Why is it staring at me?
Why would this be pushing the image you tie to a thing that you stuff into your ears?
The product isn't even that prominently featured because like remember the last third of this picture is mostly taken up with the beetle pushing away the headphones. So you get a glimpse of a transparent case with like what seems to be the top of an earbud.
I feel like you need to do some investigative reporting here. You need to call up Carl Pei and be like, what the hell are you thinking? Do you want people to associate these things with their ears? Things going into their ears? Are these things gonna? I don't know how far this marketing campaign will go.
I mean, look, I get it because it's been quite interesting to see the marketing images they've used for all of this. But look, I think there was some reasoning that they gave for this. It was like, honestly, I felt like they gave a sort of explanation, but now that I'm reading our article more closely, I'm realizing that they
didn't really give an explanation. If it is, what does a dung beetle look like?
No, you're right. You're right. It's just like it's ears a horned beetle, and
because dung beetles are like rounder. But either way, not the great product association you want out there, Carl Pei. What's going on?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so anyway, Nothing earbuds. Let's move. Let me close.
Yeah, they're gonna launch on March 22nd. So I guess we'll find out more then.
In the US, though, like, is this something we can buy?
Probably not. We don't know. We really don't know. We'll find out more.
Well, that was a great waste of time. Thank you, nothing. Thank you, Carl Page, as usual.
You could have said thanks for nothing, but you didn't.
Well. Oh, well. Do you want to do a break? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we can do a quick chat with the audience. I saw some really good comments, but shout out hi to, I know Marley Loves Film was saying something really nice about they do a clap segment on their own live stream as an homage to us. Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I felt so good about that. I thought that was so
Drew
cute.
Karmokar, hi. D-Man is here also, hi. Oh, Sister Satan is back. Hi to Sister Satan.
Do you want to... Hi, Sister Satan. Yeah,
I know. And also Sir Holmes said something funny. I can't remember. A lot of people around Google I/O
Engadget is
time.
owned by Microsoft. Always Microsoft news. We spent 5 minutes of the last hour talking about Microsoft. Come on.
Who said that? That's so
Sir
funny.
Holmes. Sir Holmes.
Oh, Sir Holmes, come on.
Come
You know
on.
that's not true. When I start talking about Apple, you're going to say Apple paid me. Come on. Okay.
There was
saw
also a
something.
really interesting comment from my HomeKit Home that said, like, as a blind person, seeing AI is absolutely incredible and an essential app for my day-to-day life.
Yep.
I thought that was really cool, and I tried to get back in touch with them to see if, I might go and check out their page after the stream and see if their HomeKit videos talk about, how they use HomeKit for day-to-day stuff, because I think that would be really cool.
That's cool.
Drew, dude named Charlie says that it reminds us that there was an iPhone 5C in yellow,
There was,
which is
yeah.
true.
Oh,
The
yeah. Wow, a
colorful
long time
phones way
ago.
back when.
I like the 5C. Those were really nice colors. The whole 5
That-
generation.
Was that the only time that iPhones ever had a plastic case?
Mm,
Plastic
It wasn't
body.
the only time,
No,
but
remember,
it
like,
was
the
one of the
3G,
last times.
The 3G and the 3GS, like way back when.
Yes,
Going
back in the
metal
day.
was actually a
Exactly.
big deal, and going like glass in the back was a big deal because we had those early ones.
Exactly. Dude named Charlie says, "Take me to Google I/O. I love free food." You know what? That's the main reason I go to these events is the free
That's the
food.
main
ZB Vlogging was like, "Take me too," and then Harry Vlogs. I bet Judgment Day will happen on Google I/O. It could be Rise of the AI. It
I
could
was
be
like-
Rise of the AI.
Yeah, I was like, please don't predict the future. Speaking of Harry Vlogs, found a fantastic gadget angle and said, like, Elon should have gotten Haldur a Pixel 7 Pro because they have amazing speech to text.
I saw that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Incredible gadget angle.
Great. game
Sir Holmes, I think a lot of people were talking about how Apple Music is a good app alternative to Spotify. I think dude named Charlie was saying that Spotify needs to deliver on their promise
Yeah.
on lossless
I like
audio.
Apple Music. Do you use Apple Music, Shalyn?
A little bit, just
It
a
does
teeny
this
tiny bit.
weird thing where it's like, okay, I'm playing a song. I want to play another song. It's like, do you want to disrupt your queue?
Yeah.
Please
There's
confirm or
very-
deny. Why? Just play the song. What is wrong with you?
It's yeah. The Apple Music's still kind of a finicky
I don't like Apple
app
Yeah.
when it comes to playing.
I like the
Some
spatial
people
audio.
mentioned YouTube. Yeah. I think there's good quality stuff in Apple Music, and they have great libraries because they can afford. They
Their
just have
Atmos
better.
stuff. Their Atmos stuff on good headphones sound amazing. But yeah, YouTube is good. YouTube can be good.
YouTube, yeah, is a good alternative. And then people were saying Amazon Music's app is crap, which is a fair point.
Garbage.
I've never
The
tried
only
it.
reason
Can't-
I remember when Amazon let you used to upload all your music to their servers or something, and then I have my whole 90 gigabyte MP3 library up there, so that's how I listen to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that. And then dude named Charlie says big yellow bird mode. This is a Sesame Street Big Bird color. This is another good reference point for that yellow.
I feel like
awesome.
Big Bird is more yellow, but okay. Big
Similar,
Bird is a
close.
bolder yellow. Big Bird is a bright, bold yellow. I watch a lot of Big Bird these days.
Marley Loves Film said yellow iPhone only on Sprint. R.I.P. Too soon.
Oh man, I remember that. Yeah.
And then Marley Loves Film also responded to a comment that I made of kind of wondering out loud how many high level Apple people went to big meetings to pick
Oh, yeah.
the perfect shade of yellow, and how that must have felt like office satire of is it this one or this one? This one
this
feels kind of happier.
It's the sort of thing, it's a color where if you stare at it too long, it can sort of give you a headache. So I can imagine just staring at a giant screen of this shade of yellow. Let's move 1 pixel. What do you call those codes? The color codes? Move
Hex
one
codes,
color shade,
hex
codes.
hex code over.
I've done that a lot. When I used to design web pages, it was like F, right? But what I would go like EEDD just to get off white, just to like, I don't know. And I wanted a little bit more pink, so I would actually like figure out the math myself, and I would just change the numbers. I wouldn't even like go to a color map because that's how demented I was.
But like figuring out what color to pick and like what the description would be reminds me of like one of my favorite things that Sherlyn does whenever we're talking about Samsung things, which is like read a little bit of the press release of like, why, purple is so important or something. That's
like, just because Samsung is really just overboard with that shit.
I think that there's a whole industry of color consultants that do that.
No, there is. It's called the Pantone people. The Pantone people decide the color of the year, and then Huawei. I don't know if you were here for this. I don't know if we even talked about it. Huawei had a whole like hour-long segment on the keynote that they had at MWC, just talking about why Serenity Green was the color of the year for them. I was just like, am I really sitting through this right now? Like, it was not great.
I like color. I'm wearing a very colorful outfit right now. So
I love colors.
More colors. It's all good.
But
when is somebody? What is that? Is it Vanta Black? Is the blackest black ever created?
Yes,
give
the one
Phantom
kind of owned by Anish
Black.
Kapoor.
Yeah. But give me a phone, Vanta Black colored.
Okay.
You will never find it. You will never find it. You lose it somewhere. It's just like
because it disappears. Yeah.
One last little question from me as a user. Do you know why Apple decided to put glass on the back of the iPhone?
Wireless charging?
It was I remember when this happened because that was the iPhone 4 and everyone was like, this is the dumbest idea ever. And partially it was the metal did get in the way of, I think it was the LTE radios. So I think that was part of it too, and it was radio interference. So metal backing gets in the way of antennas. That's why a lot of phones, every phone has antennas like around the sides, but metal was also, because I don't think they had wireless charging back then.
No, it was later. Definitely Antenna Gate around that time too.
That literally was, part of Antenna Gate was the iPhone 4 and the antenna design.
So Glassback helps with that, reducing interference on that, but also with wireless charging is just now why most phones stay away from or do Glassbacks, if I'm not wrong.
You know what? I was joking, guys, but I do want a Vanta Black phone. Like imagine when you're holding your phone, it looks like a black bar. It looks like a black sensor bar.
You are the reason companies make phones that are like blacker than black. Some of them like really.
I can see that phone, Trillian. I want a phone to like completely absorb light, like a black hole. That would be fun.
Okay,
it gets so hot in the sun.
Exactly. If we're talking about like why phones have different things like glass on the back, you wouldn't have a Vanta Black phone because you could not leave it out in the sun. It would just overheat and like melt components.
It's a bad idea for many reasons, but it's sort of like it is sort of one of those things. Like maybe in like a Glass Onion movie, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I have the only Vanta Black iPhone in the world. Where'd it go? It's gone. I've lost it forever." Man.
I find Vanta Black stuff a little bit scary.
It's scary. That's a whole. So I don't know if you've seen Fleischman Trouble yet, Ben, but I've recommended it to everybody. There's a whole like thing in that show where Vanta Black is just like, it's like your soul. It's like you can see into your soul. It's so black. It's like the blackness.
Really quickly, just to address some final like conversations going on in the chat. Shazad said that Google seems to be killing the Fitbit brand, and you want to hear our opinion on this. And Name Charlie responded saying that they're integrating all the tech into Pixel Watch Wear OS. I will say I don't think that we're going to see the Fitbit brand entirely go away because it's a pretty strong brand.
It's literally synonymous with health tech and health.
Google. I don't see Google rebranding the stuff that is like Fitbit trackers, like the smartwatches, sure, but not the trackers that are like really cheap and really basic. I don't think we would see a Google Inspire. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Fitbits as that little tracker device, I think they're going to stick around. They're also going to integrate Fitbit software into Pixel watches perhaps in future. It doesn't make sense in my mind that they like differentiate it so much, but because Fitbit are a pretty stubborn bunch.
Consumer products actually make sense. Like what? I'm so annoyed by a lot of this. We should move on to other news.
We will move on. And then I think that's pretty much the last. The last stuff was all about glass backs and stuff.
All right, we will finish up, folks. Do you have a working on thing, Sherlyn?
Yeah, I would just mention it. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to what we've been working on. I wrote up a piece about another piece about the PlayStation VR 2. I spent a bunch of time in Gran Turismo 7 and Resident Evil Village in virtual reality. And you know what? It's pretty wild. Like I think the PSVR 2 is really excellent hardware, as I discussed. I think it is way expensive, and I think it's a hard sell for a lot of people. But if you do end up getting one of these things, my God, are these games great? Like actually sitting in the driver's seat in Gran Turismo 7 and looking around the car and using the mirrors realistically, it just feels really good. It feels like, oh man, this is kind of the stuff we've been working towards for VR in general. And Resident Evil Village is freaking terrifying.
Yes.
Terrifying in VR, because it's like any horror game in VR is rough, but especially that game, which has really creepy imagery and like, you know, the very tall vampire lady that everybody got obsessed with. She is very tall in VR.
I want to play this.
VR really gives you a good sense of scale to be squashed by vampire lady. So anyway, enough about that. I think these games are really good, and we're seeing like more and more high-level games take advantage of VR with modes like these. So that's a cool thing. Maybe VR should just be like a mode in many games rather than have separate VR games. I just don't know. It requires so much development time. It takes so much money to make those games. It seems like a tough sell for developers because VR is such an expensive thing already. So maybe when we're all wearing AR glasses or something and you can like be thrown into a sort of virtual world based on a game, that would be kind of cool, but we're not quite there yet. What are you working on, Sherlyn?
I'm still testing the Halo Rise. That's a little delayed because this week there's just more editing than usual. So you'll see that coming still. We're planning a very fun video on that. We're waiting on Amazon to help us out with something, but it should be a lot of fun. Stick around for that. And then South by Southwest kicks off today. We're not actually covering it in person or whatever, but I expect some news out of it. There's sure to be some fun
They're
VR
not doing
things.
Remote viewings for movies and stuff either, right? So that's somehow.
I mean, yeah. If individual companies, exactly, it's like individual companies will reach out to us and that
or
sort
movies.
of thing. So maybe
like the actual culture part of South by, we haven't really heard anything from folks. So
yeah, I have like a VR thing I'm working on. That's like I can't say because it's still under wraps, but that might be going up on the site this week or next. So we'll see. But yeah, a bunch of things that we're working on in the background.
Very cool.
We also I can talk about dancing. Around Engadget, the rest of our team has been hard at work, and Dan Cooper actually tested a very interesting product that I think has caught a lot of attention this week. Remarkable, the people that made that e-ink tablet that you can write on, have launched a type Folio for the e-ink or the e-paper tablet, and it's called, well, according to Dan, it's a very pretty, very good looking thing, but a little expensive. I mean, like, it's very confusing to me. Like, you went e-ink and you went pen, right? But then now you're also like, yeah, let's type on this.
I kind of want to type on it. Is the thing. Like, if I bought one of these things, I'd be like, okay, for sure, I do like scribbling with my pen, but you know what? If I'm stuck somewhere and I have a device that I can just type words on, it's not connected to Twitter. It doesn't. I can't go to YouTube and waste time. I just got to look at this black and white screen and write words. That's kind of cool. That's pretty compelling.
I know. I see the appeal. It kind of like has like typewriter vibes, except for it's not a typewriter. I see the appeal. It does seem expensive though, so I'm like not entirely sure. But if you want, the details on all of that, go over to Engadget.com.
Let's talk about the pricing. So like the Remarkable 2 is $299. You have to buy the stylus separately. It's $79 or $129, and the keyboard Folio is $199. And I do believe the last time I looked at the Remarkable, you also have to pay a subscription.
A subscription
to actually
for the software.
That
syncs your notes. Yeah, it's really just for the syncing of your notes across devices.
If you have this thing,
which is important,
you'd want to use that. So anyway, I keep looking at the Remarkable and being like, you're such a beautiful piece of hardware.
I know.
You do not make sense. You do not make sense in my life at all. But man, is it cool for some people? If one of you is crazy enough to buy this thing, let us know. Podcastinggadget.com. Let's move on to our pop culture picks. What's up, Sherlyn?
This week I am blanking on what 1 second.
Well done.
I almost got it. Wait.
See, this is why I write mine down, and Trilin does
I
not.
write. I sent them to.
All right, let me go, and then you think about yours. Okay. For me,
I know what it is.
I just want to shout out Creed 3, the third film in the Creed franchise. And I don't know, what is this, the 9th Rocky film, technically,
Lord,
in the Rocky
yeah.
universe? This is Michael B. Jordan's first movie that he has directed. It is incredible, and I think it's really good. So I just want to say that. If you enjoyed Creed 1 and the sort of like dynamics of the fights, I think this movie, it brings in Jonathan Majors, who was also recently in Ant-Man Quantumania, and he is beautiful man, a beautiful boxer, as a sort of like childhood friend who has been sort of betrayed by Adonis Creed, at least as a kid. Like he was in jail for a while because of a crime that they were both there for as younger folks, and he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder. This movie is incredible. And I will say this mainly because this movie is anime. And my God, it is wild to see. Like, Michael B. Jordan has talked a lot about his love of anime. Like, he's a straight up weeb. Go look at Polygon. Like, they've talked with him about this stuff. Like, he is referencing Naruto. He is referencing like specific episodes and like character arcs, and the sort of dynamics of people who used to be very good friends who become like kind of mortal enemies. Very anime. The actual way they shoot the fight scenes too is very like dynamic. The camera is always moving. There's like great parallax motion at times where like the camera is circling around somebody while the background is moving in a different direction. There are freeze frame shots of just like it. You just took a frame of Naruto or Dragon Ball Z, honestly, and put it on screen and made people around America watch it in theaters. And I'm like, I gotta applaud it. It looks amazing. So I really dug this movie. I feel like it could have been longer. Like, there's a lot going on in it that could be explored a bit more. But man, if you have a chance, go see Creed 3 in theaters. It is anime. Confirmed. What's up, Trilly?
I like the marketing around this movie has been interesting too, because I don't know if I got targeted advertising or whatever, but one of the ads was like, "Oh, tell your boyfriend this is a movie about boxing." I was just like, more like tell your girlfriend there's hot sweaty men in this, like, right? Like, what
is that too?
Yeah, it was a really weird ad. I was just like, it feels weird. I didn't like it. And then also I saw the Michael B. Jordan interview with his like former high school bully or something on the red carpet.
I love that. Like, he was
Did you see that?
the person who sort of used to make fun of him because he was a child
You called me
actor.
corny. You called me corny
was somebody,
or something.
He brought headshots into school. Like, he was somebody who was hustling to be an actor when he was a kid, and this person would make fun of him. Now she is interviewing him on the red carpet, and he's just
trying to get him to talk to her.
He's just like, oh, remember when you called me corny?
No,
like,
she even brought it up. She was like, remember we went to the same high school.
No, we went to the same high school. And he was like, yeah, I remember.
You called me corny.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, you said I was a corny kid.
Man.
And
That's
like,
just a truly epic moment. Look up this clip of him just being. He could have like made it much worse for her too. So
yeah. But he stayed through the interview and he talked through it, he was, on the professional end of things, which was good. Anyway, speaking of funny, my recommendation is actually, and I'm sure you'll approve of this one, Atsuko Okatsuka's comedy special on HBO. It's called The Intruder. Atsuko Okatsuka is great. Yeah. She is I think first generation Japanese American person, and this special was directed by Tig Notaro, and she just nails a lot of the humor. I also like when humor can be funny but inoffensive, and she relates a lot of her personal experiences, which I, as someone that's an immigrant, identify with a lot. Like, okay, you probably have seen this joke float around Instagram, so this is not a spoiler. One of her jokes is basically, she goes like, oh, my grandma is gluten-free now, like, or is gluten intolerant now, and she goes, did you know that our community can get this? I was like, yes, Asian people, we don't have food intolerance. I was like, what's going on? She was like, I thought and she starts laughing. She goes, I thought only white people had this. We were like, oh my God.
This was a made up thing. I mean,
yeah, it was quite funny.
Totally get it. Have you seen the Chris Rock special, which was the other?
Yeah,
I
did. I was gonna mention it alongside. So I have seen the Chris Rock. What did you think?
Atsuko's, because I think Chris Rock's is like, oh man, you're just a dinosaur.
A bit more offensive.
Not even just offensive, just like, man, I could tell why your marriage didn't work out, huh? I could tell, like, you just have a lot of issues around women, and you should be telling some of this to your therapist and not to us as an audience. So it's very 90s, like very 90s.
It's also
in a lot of ways.
It's also a very nice change because Atsuko's comedy special focused on her husband features prominently in her stories, but they're like you can see they have a healthy like relationship where they're both very secure and well adjusted.
They like
and you know
each
what's
other?
cool? They like each other. You know what's cool? At the end of the special, she brings out her grandmother and her husband onto the stage, and they wave and they say hi and everything too. I actually haven't seen that in the stand up yet. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's
So
beautiful.
it's wholesome, and I like that. We all need a little bit of
Wholesome is good. I love good comedy. Thank you for sharing that, Sherlyn. And I think we can wrap.
Check it out. For the live audience, we're coming back to you in a bit, but I'm going to record the outro for our audio podcast now. All right. Well, that's it for the episode this week, everyone. Thank you as always for listening. Our theme music is by game composer Dale North. Our outro music is by our very own Terrence O'Brien. This podcast is produced by Ben Elman. You can find Devindra online at
Devindra on Twitter and at Devindra at mastodon.social on the Elephant site.
If you have any other reference colors for reference things for what the yellow iPhone looks like, you can send them to me on
Send us
Twitter.
your
I am
favorite hex
at
codes.
Sherlyn Low. At
Just
Sherlyn
codes.
Low. Okay, but at Sherlyn Low. Yeah. If email us your thoughts at podcast@engadget.com. Leave us a review, please, on iTunes, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.
Okay, I'm gonna direct traffic on the audio edit so that send us your hex codes is not
Okay. Thank you.
overlapping so much.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. We got chats. Why do
Hello.
So Michael B.
Okay.
Jordan is a confusing celebrity to me because I read an article a number of years ago, I think maybe around, the premiere of Creed 2 or something, that said that he was genuinely scared that he was going to entirely fall out of acting after he was Wallace in The Wire.
Yeah.
But kind of from the outside, it seems like his star was a foregone conclusion because everyone loved Wallace and then he ended up in a couple of other things. But
Well, then it was Friday Night Lights. I think like that was his next big thing after that. And I remember I was watching The Wire at the time for the first time, so a little bit late. And then I started watching Friday Night Lights, and that is an amazing show. If you all have not seen it, go check it out. Sherlyn, you will adore Friday Night Lights, even though it's about high school football. Yeah.
If we're talking about like picks and stuff, recently some of our friends, coworkers, etc., have put me on to this new show. Well, not a new show. It's trashy reality show, but that's what I need right now. I need trashy dating reality shows right now because I want to I need to open my eyes to like bad behaviors that people have and like be able to call it out, I'm able to do this for other people. Like I can look at other people, I will watch a show and I'll be like, that guy is a jackass, but like, I need to like be able to practice that. So that's what I'm watching right now. No Friday Night Lights for me until I can like
What is the trashy
absorb
show?
all of that.
Name the show.
Oh, it's Married at First Sight, but
Oh
not
my
the
God.
not the US version. Not the US version. The US version's bad. It's the Australia version.
Okay. They're less crazy in Australia. Yeah.
It's a little bit better because it's like they really call out bad behaviors, which I really like. I really enjoy.
Oh, that's
it.
actually great.
Yeah, they actually like. Do you know that when you did this, you hurt this person, and you watch a person struggle to realize what they've done? Their face is like, and then like they just no, and then they storm out. Or some people have breakthroughs. Some people have genuine remorse, and it's actually very fascinating to watch. I think I'm really into the psychology of like reality dating shows. Anyway, Mark Sicken in the chat says Too Hot to Handle. That was also a very interesting one to watch. One of my other friends was watching Perfect Match, which is just want to watch people be trash and see if they grow and learn. That's really it.
Okay. You take enjoyment from seeing other people be trash. Yes. Do you think Charlie shouting out Gangs of London? Yes, Gangs of London. Is
I've heard good
freaking
things about
incredible,
that one.
and I wish it was more widely accessible on AMC because like some of the craziest action you'll ever see is in that show. I have to see season 2 still. Yeah.
Do you name Charlie also said that they just started watching Tulsa King, which is very I've never heard of it.
I've talked about Tulsa King on my other show. It is a very silly show. Stallone as a mobster in Tulsa. Okay, sure.
And then I think Darren N and Marley Love's film were both a little like curious about a VR experience and how nauseating it might get, or whether your eyes will feel sore over time.
It depends
I think
on you. It depends
Yeah.
on you. Do you wear glasses?
Yeah.
Honestly, I can be in VR for a very, very long time, but you get sweaty because every headset has like foam or something like
Yeah,
around
exactly.
the
For
eyepiece.
comfort. Yeah,
For
that's
comfort, your
ironic.
glasses may shift in a way that kind of pushes on your nose. So I've
Yeah.
gotten used to a lot of that stuff. If you don't wear glasses, it'll probably be a lot more comfortable for you. But
Yeah.
the dizziness, that is you. That is you and how your body, deals with issues like vertigo
Yeah.
and things. So
I think over time it's
Can't tell.
gotten better, right? Because I used to get very nauseated with like the Gear VR because the frame rate was kind of low, I guess, and the resolution wasn't all there. But then like the Quest 2 is pretty good. It really depends, right? Like
it
good.
depends. You have
Yeah.
to try it and see how but start
Absolutely.
with slower experiences. Maybe don't
Yeah.
do games immediately.
Don't
Yeah.
do stuff that puts you on a moving vehicle where you're not actually moving, right? Like a roller coaster experience is definitely going to make you nauseated because you're not moving, but your eyes think you are and your brain thinks you are. So don't do that. Daniel Lopez Lima asks, did anybody watch The Rhino and the Red Bill? What is that?
What is that? I don't know.
I don't know what that is. Do you know it? If
No.
if Devendra doesn't know, then this is sus. So yeah.
Oh man.
There you go. I think that was most of the questions. So we can start saying goodbye, y'all. This was a shorter day today, but we've had some long days.
And check
so
out the audio episode because that interview with Andy
sure.
Tarantola is very good. If you want to hear about Neuralink and what's going on there.
Yeah. So yeah, this is your time to throw in the bye. I would love to say, bring up your names and stuff. And there you go. Okay. Ben, did you want to do your roll call, credits roll?
Yeah, I just looked it up. The Rhino and the Red Bill is a Canadian CGI web animation pilot.
Okay.
So
Wow.
That seems very specific.
It seems like someone came here to like market their
Yeah,
thing. You chose
yeah,
the wrong place. We have like 3 viewers. We have 3 viewers. I'm sorry. We have more than 3. I don't want to acknowledge that we have. I want to acknowledge we have so many people here.
We
But
have dozens of people.
yeah, exactly. There we go. We got close to 20.
Yeah.
although like that kind of reminds me of times, years ago where people would be really, really like enthusiastic about this one piece of animation that maybe, wouldn't really lead to anything, wouldn't lead to like a big deal or something. But like, that's actually one of my favorite things about a certain time of year, maybe around like the end of the spring semester in college, because that's when all the CalArts animations, like animation finals come out. I love to see those.
I used to go to the NYU the student movie like premieres quite often. Those were always fun.
Okay.
All right.
So
Thanks
we're
to Best
wrapping it
and
up.
D-Man. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Go on.
And by dude named Charlie. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This video comes to you via our video team, which is Julio Barrientos and Luke Brooks. You know that we live in a world of algorithms better than the average person. So just rate us 5 stars on iTunes, rate us like 5 stars on Google Podcasts. Tell a few friends about us and get us to several hundred viewers. No, we have several hundred viewers, but we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. Bye, everyone.